Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Eight Queens Roundtable Show and Podcast. Just give me 1 second to get the other piece of the puzzle up here. There we go. So, welcome back, welcome back. I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. You are joining us for A Queen's Roundtable Show and Podcast. We typically air every second and fourth Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you see, we stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube, and also uploaded to the Women Win Network, which also streams on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. The Women Win Network is dedicated to women's empowerment. Women win 365 days. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I didn't tell you a little bit about myself. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am the executive producer of the Eight Queens Roundtable channel on the Women Win Network. I am also the visionary author of the Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within anthology, which is actually set to launch the end of this month. So please, if you're not following me, do so. That way you can join us for the launch. Okay, the end of this month. So be looking out. Also, I am your host for Eight Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium, which takes place in January, May, and September, which is also, as well as the show, dedicated to personal, professional, and leadership development for African American women in business. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're based out of, the name of your business, and how long you've been in business, and just whatever else you want us to know.
Sure. Thank you, Jacqueline. It's been a pleasure to be on this platform, share with you. We have engaged in our Miami Nights platform, which I was very delighted to meet you in person there. And the opportunity to be present in your panel, in your platform, is completely an honor. I must start by saying that. My name is Anissa Brathwaite. I'm the proud CEO and owner of AB&G Travel and Tours LLC and also Anissa LLC. So starting with, I'm based in New York, and starting with AB&G Travel and Tours is a travel agency, but I consider it more of a travel consultant and concierge specialist. Is a one-on-one personal touch that we have with our clients related to any travel arrangements that they may need or desire. So instead of we having our clients going online and just picking what they want, is us giving us the personal touch of hearing their needs and knowing that there's someone that they can talk to as well. This vision came into place about 2013 or so, when I felt the need that I want to start my own business. I've been on the airline industry for so long, as of now, it's been more than 18 years. So I'm very well grounded, founded, you can name it. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to travel experiences. I've been from customer service when it comes to reservation, to ticketing, to passenger service, to management, to in-flight experience, and also the ground transportation while working outside on the route. So I'm well-rounded skill, and this was prior to me being able to be granted or taken the opportunity to receive a retirement package at such a young age, in my 42 years ago. And with that said, it allows me to focus fully on my business as well. And just speaking about the company itself, many may say, "Oh, why should we contact a travel agency when we can go online and book our own flights?" Yeah, sure, you can go online, or there's so many panels out there. But what make it special from us or from my business per se is the personal touch of knowing that you don't have to sit on your computer for hours or minutes figuring what will be best for you. And sometimes you're rushing and you just go and pick something that when you go to the airport, you realize, oh, this fare did not include my carry-on. It did not include my seat. And now you see yourself paying extra money because you didn't wasn't familiarized or educated in regards of the changes that constantly happen with the airline as well. So having someone that will be able to assist you when it comes to that, it brings down a weight and it releases stress too. And that's what my business is about. And when it comes to, we have done many charity events, we have sponsored many diverse events as well. And at this current point, I have given the vision of something that I always love, and I love fashion. I love putting my pieces together. I have my unique way of dressing, and so that's when I developed Anissa LLC. And Anissa LLC is a woman luxury clothing. So it's clothing that I personally designed and gave that touch as to what I feel like a woman, a queen, will love to wear because I see myself in it. And very soon, I'm going to be having the launch of such, and I will keep everyone posted when it comes to that. So I am just pleased of the opportunities that God has given me, and this is not the end. There's much more to come.
All right. Wow. So you have the clothing line that's set to launch soon, and you have your travel business.
Correct.
Okay. Now, aren't you an author as well? Didn't I?
Yes, I was given. Okay, I had this vision for years that I was going to write a book or participate in a book. But you get these thoughts behind you saying, "Oh, you're not such a good writer," or so. It's all about intimidation and fear. But that's one thing that we have. If you have that whisper in your voice, and you know what you need to do, so you need to do what God put in you to do. And with Dr. Nakita Davis, I had the pleasure to meet her. I had the pleasure to engage in different events that she has um, partake in, that she has done. And when this book came up, which is her vision of no more breadcrumbs, sis, we buy in the bakery, I said to myself, nope, this is the call and I have to do it. And so with the book, is a co-author, and is a couple of queens, powerhouse queens, best-selling author queens. It's just spilling testimony and wisdom, and like Dr. Nakita was saying, nuggets into others. And I felt within myself to pour some of my testimony of how I have passed through my challenge and the growth that I have seen myself rise. So if you have not purchased the book as yet, I suggest you get it on Kindle, get a paperback. Amazon is out there and you will not regret it. My chapter on that book is called Walk by Faith, and it's exactly what I'm explaining on that chapter. It's a walk by faith process that God put me through. But I'm not going to give you any more insight of it. So you got to get to buy the book.
Gotta get the book. Gotta get the book. So, and actually, that's what she's going to talk to you all about later in just a few moments. Walk by faith. Before we get into that, I always like to ask, and I think it's extremely important that we talk about this because, well, the question itself is if you could share with us one obstacle, whether it be personal or professional, that you have experienced and how you were able to navigate it, I guess, if you will. And before you answer, I just want to say that the reason I think it's important to talk about things like this is because, especially with social media, people tend to see all of the glory and all of the quote unquote wins, right? Or you're just becoming, aware of Lisa Nichols when she's Lisa Nichols, or I don't know, I'm trying to think of some other people, maybe a Cheryl Wood, but you
Mhm.
don't know what their path has been. You don't know how they originally started. I'm sorry, my son is like really screaming in the background. I'm online. I have an 11-year-old, and even though it's just one, he makes a lot of noise and he gets really excited. So, and a lot of times we just see the fruit, and we don't have any idea of what the struggle was, So I think that that's a part of being transparent, and with that transparency, we can help inspire other women that may have, started something and kind of fell down or had some sort of an obstacle, and they're debating whether or not they're going to keep going, and this might be able to help another queen be able to pick it back up and get back up and say, you know what, I'm going to press on. This is my calling. This is my purpose. I will see it through. So share with us one obstacle, like I said, personal or professional, that you had to navigate in your life.
um, I'm kind of gonna relate it or tangle it into one big point, which I will say, not giving up, not giving up. And the obstacle of such is like you had said, Jacqueline, that someone will visualize and see your point right now. This person is doing this and it's in billboards and here and there, but what took to get to that? And for me, it was the challenge of pushing forward and not giving up, and especially when you're by yourself, when you're really alone, when you don't have your family close to you. And for me, I will go a little bit back and partake why I said that it will be not giving up is because when I arrived to this country, to the US, it was basically my first time being here, first time traveling, and it was completely different for me. I went through so many challenges on getting adapted to this country, and within those challenges, being verbally abused, being in a relationship, but being also verbally abused, and sometimes people feel like they can tell you whatever because you are in a deficit. You really don't know, you don't have a job, and so many other things went on. But I know myself, and I know where I grew up from my parents. There was a strong spiritual foundation, which was in Panama. And by me arriving here with my dad, it was completely different, and I had to get adapted into knowing him. But if we're being real and we're talking real, that's why I'm going to let you know where I came from to where I am now. So, as a Panamanian coming in a different country, not really knowing your parent, my dad, being with him for a couple of months, and then moving with someone which I thought that was real, but it ended up being something different. So, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and whatnot. But guess what? I said, no, I'm not going back to Panama because I came this far. And by coming this far, I'm going to keep improving myself. Guess what? I worked two jobs to continue moving forward, move out, get my own place, and keep on going. I put myself through college to get more education. And while pursuing and doing so, because in my mind, I kept saying, I'm not giving up, I'm not moving back. Was it easy? No, it was not easy because many times the challenges get stronger and stronger, and you just feel like throwing the towel. And I said to myself, I came this far. My parents worked this hard for me. I'm not going to let them down. And as I put myself through education, through two jobs to move myself into different positions, I got into a level that now I am becoming more independent. I'm becoming more empowered into saying that I can do this. If it's within you and it was invested in you, you can do it. And now it got into a level that God put in me. You can do your own business. You can open your own business. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. And take it for granted that for my past experience, um, I will not treat anyone any different from it. And where I am right now, I am still being the same person, as humble as I have been all these years. So my success does not change my personality nor my integrity, but it allows me to be able to speak now to many queens out there and let them know that if I came this far, not having family, really family around me, and I had to go through my challenges on my own, but having God with me through the entire process, I know that you can do it too. It's all about striving and not giving up, knowing that sometimes you got to sit down and you got to cry and let it out, but then you put yourself back up and saying, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to make it. And guess what? You will get into a level and you're seeing yourself elevating, and those that was your friends or was close to you may not celebrate what you're doing. And that was a challenge for me too. I used to say, why isn't my friends clicking like on my Facebook, or why are they not coming to some of my events? But then I said to myself, the what God put in you is in you, it's not in them. So many of them doesn't have it in them to celebrate for you. So you got to celebrate for yourself each and every step. And guess what? Sometimes I go out and something good happen and a good opportunity will come up. Guess what? I will go to the store or go somewhere, go to the restaurant, wherever, buy me an ice cream or take me out for dinner. I will do that because I learned every step of the way, every success, everything that you do, you got to celebrate yourself. You need to stop sitting back and waiting back for somebody to celebrate you. Because if you're going to do that, you're going to wait way, way too long. We need to be humble, but we need to learn to be independent. So, as Jacqueline was saying regarding my setbacks or my challenges, this will be the main focus that I will give a tip to many queens out there. Rise from where you are and know that you can make it to where you are supposed to go, where your destiny, where you are, what God has put in you, invested in you. Take it to that next level. Don't look at your left, don't look at your right, but you just look at that foundation, that tunnel where you need to go, and you're going to see yourself succeeding. So, wherever I came from, it wasn't a fact of somebody did a favor for me or somebody different. I work hard. I work hard for where I am many nights, stay up late because ideas will come on my mind of what I want to do for my business, or when my business is my baby. And that's how I treat it. And you sit down and you do it. And that's how you embrace it. And you can stand now, like on this platform, which is an honor for me to be able to speak because of your experience. You are empowered to give this knowledge to others. So we're not just speaking because we read this from a book and we're just telling you what a book says. We're saying it, and many of us queens like Jacqueline and the other queens that are part of the um, collaborative book, we are speaking because we went through many challenges in our life. And that's why we can tell you, just get up and do it too.
And I have to really say that, you covered so many points, and it took a lot for me to, keep quiet. But I just want to piggyback just on a couple of things about how you mentioned that you can't wait for other people to give you a pat on the back or tell you how great of a job you did, and that's fine for other people to do it.
Mhm.
However, you have to be able to do that for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, take yourself out to dinner, take yourself to a movie, or treat yourself to a bubble bath. Or it doesn't have to be nothing elaborate, a massage or whatever. It could just be something simple as, I'm just chilling tonight and I'm not answering the phone. I'm not making no phone calls. I'm not making nobody's dinner. Whatever the case, you just kind of like in your zone. And we need that. And the thing of it is, sometimes I think we as women, that's challenging for us because we're so used to, and especially if you're a mom, if you're a husband, Lord have mercy, you see where my mind is, right? It's been a long day already. If
It's
you're a
so funny.
wife or a girlfriend, a fiance, right? You
Mhm.
have children, you have maybe parents that you're caring for, maybe you have responsibilities in the community, in the church. And oftentimes it's so easy for us to put ourselves on the back burner or to make our self care an option.
Correct.
Right? It's not an option, it's mandatory. Because, and you always hear people say this, but this is so true. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take that time to replenish yourself, and it's okay. We recommend it. Pat yourself on the back. Forget all of that stuff about you don't want to toot your own horn. I know I was told that as I was growing up. Ladies got to be seen and not heard, and don't be boastful. Forget all of that. It's not even in my nature to be boastful. Which is why I had such a challenging time patting myself on the back.
Hmm.
And even saying, "Whoa, Jackie, you did that. You brought it." You know what I mean? It was a time that I couldn't even do that. I just didn't feel comfortable. Much less somebody bringing me out, and congratulating me on something. So time out for all of that. You need to do that. Be your own cheerleader, right? And another thing you
Yeah.
mentioned too, you had so many good points, girl. But sometimes too it's a little hurtful when we see friends and family and it doesn't really seem like they really support us, because it's just like if there's somebody on the other side of the world that can give me a compliment or give me a like or even listen to the 5 seconds of my video, and people that are like right here in my face every day have no idea what I do and don't care.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that's your situation. I just know that that's my situation, and I know there's a lot of other people out there that can identify with that. And when you're first starting out, that kind of stings a little bit.
It does.
But like
It
as
does.
you go on, you begin to build your momentum. You become your own cheerleader, and you begin to connect. You begin to basically build your own community.
Oh, yes.
Build your own community, or become a part of a community, and both, to get that extra support. So I'm not going to talk on too much more, but like I said, she has so many good points. I just had to piggyback on a couple of those things. So I'm glancing at the time. So do you have anything else that you want to share and kind of piggyback on anything that you said before or something that I just said before we kind of move to the next segment?
Well, I will just emphasize also, Jacqueline, is the fact of we become our own cheerleader. We're doing it very humbly because we're not boasting, bragging. If we're gonna boast and brag, we boast and brag on our God who brought us to where we are. Yes, we'll definitely boast and brag and act like a fool if you want to tell us that. But becoming cheerleaders, we are becoming our own cheerleaders, and we cheer for others too, for other success, for our queens around us, because we can't just be focusing on ourselves and not be happy for others going through the process, because it also emphasizes on when you have your own problems and your own struggles, but you still take that strength to be able to help someone in need that going through a trouble. That's when you see God help you more. That's when you see God elevate you more, because you're not just focusing on you, but you spending that time and you taking that time to help someone else that needs. So that's my little a little emphasis more into what you have said. Let's be our own cheerleaders.
That's right. Be your own cheerleader. I have to give a shout out to one of our dear queens all the way from Barbados. that just checked in and left a few awesome, uplifting comments. Dr. Nikita Davis, and I know Dr. Dion's right by your side. They're um, together in Barbados. I wish I was there taking in some of that sun and
Yes.
so forth. But thank you so much for taking the time to drop in for a minute and give a couple of shout outs of love. Much appreciated, Queen. Woo! So, so go ahead. Now, I know you have a topic. You said you were going to share with us a little bit more about what that means to you. It's walk by faith.
Yes, so and we see in the book of 2 Corinthians 6:5 that it says, "For we walk by faith and not by sight." And that scripture really prevailed in me, and it allowed me to grow. It allowed me to develop myself. And it's one thing when you read something many times, but you really don't understand it. It's another thing when you read it and you get to understand the meaning of it. And that's what happened to me. And um, when I partake in this collaborative book, and it came up into what scripture or what chapter would I be calling, and I said it will be walked by faith, because for me, the process that God has taken me all these years to where I am, it has been a development when it comes to work, to business, family, relationship, and more so relationship too. As a foundation of everybody has, um, not everybody's the same, and you're trying to understand someone else. So that is not easy. So on this chapter, I will say that I was tested, which I have. If you're aligned with God and you really have that listening ears from Him within your spirit, you will know when you're being tested and what you need to do. And I was being tested about a couple of years back, and I had my business, which I have it right now for 9 years. And but in this case, I was working for a hospital, and God says, "No, I need you to leave that, and I need you to focus fully on your business." And I said to myself, in the logical world, many people may think, "Oh, you're having a nice job with a nice benefit. You're still having your business, is okay, but are you sure you want to do this?" And you got to really listen to deep down inside to know what step you should really be doing. So in order for me to really now know if that's what I was supposed to do, I fasted and I prayed, and I kept having it, but I just kept going through the process. And the environment at work was becoming very conducive, very heavy. Um, I will pray before going to work, while at work, while leaving work, and it was still becoming not comfortable. And then I had to say to God, okay, what must I do now? And that's when he says to me, I heard the same whisper again, you need to submit your resignation. And at that point, I know and I knew that I had to take that step. And that's what I did. So what I'm explaining right now, this is the process of walking by faith. In our logical eyes, we may not understand. It does not look logical. It's like, yeah, you have your business, but you have this with so many benefits and pension and whatnot. You may not know the outcome, but you gotta go by what you feel in you, and it's the faith, knowing that God is on the throne, He's our source, and He will supply our need. If we have that foundation, then we know that no matter where we go, He's gonna be with us along the way. I I will proceeded to do my resignation, gave them enough time and so forth. And I just have to say that by the time I submitted that resignation, that weight that I had in me, that struggle that I was fighting with, it was completely released. I felt a peace within myself. While I was fighting it, I felt uncomfortable inside. I felt like my heart rate beating, and it was a whole lot of stuff going on. But once I did that, it was so peaceful. So I knew that was what I needed to do. So going through this process of learning to be faithful and learning to trust in God, I learned also not to put situations and problems on a pedestal or on the throne or focus on that. But I learned that we put God on the throne. And I know that no matter what you have or where you are, you know that He's your source, He's your way maker, He's your supplier. So in every moment of every day, just like the birds are flying out in the air every day, not having to worry about anything, how much more we that are His precious foundation, His precious creation, when He take care of us. So with that said too, if a father or mother see a child that is not taking, if the child is misbehaving and not doing what's supposed to do, but the child asks the father or the mother, I want to have a bread or something to eat, they're not going to give him a rock, or they're not going to say, no, you're staying without food. They're going to still supply him. They're going to still feed him. So how much more our Heavenly Father is not going to look over us and take care of us? So with all of that foundation in mind, I took that bold step of faith and proceeded to leave it and focus fully on my business. With that said, when I did it, my business skyrocketed so much in months than I had ever done in so many other years. And I know that it was all because of the grace of God, because He put you in places where you need to be. And because of such, and because you're listening to Him and you trust in Him, He's not going to let you down. He's going to give you all what you need and much more. So, what I experienced and went through, I never thought that I would have been reaching that level. And that was all because of obedience. I experienced during that time, as I did many business travels and different events and engagements that I was able to partake as a full-time business owner, entrepreneur. It felt it felt just so good. It felt like you put all your time into someone else's business, but now you're putting all that experience and dedication, hard work and sweat into your own, building your own. And one time I went through, as I did my business travels, I was in Chicago, and I took one of those ferries that do the architecture um, guide. They take you around the river or so forth. And I remember sitting back and just enjoying that ride through Chicago and looking at the architecture, the buildings and so forth. And I say, wow, look at me experiencing this. Where any other time I have traveled, I have gone different places, but I never experienced it the way I experienced it that moment. And after that, I was able to take myself out and eat and do whatever I had to do. But with all of that said, is that you are walking by faith. You are trusting in Him. He is giving you everything that you need. So this is part of what is in the chapter of No More Breadcrumbs, Sis. We bind the bakery. And you will see some tips, you will see some steps, you will see some other pointers that I had taken in place after I went through that process. And the elevation in which I am going at this moment too. And I must just say, is a swift or shift experience. And sometimes you got to just brace yourself, because what God does, it just amazes ourselves and blow our mind. And I'm just speaking from my experience out there, queens and kings, if you're listening to that, we're being unique, we're being real, but most important of all, we are faithful women guided by God. And if we don't have Him in our side, there's there's nothing we can do, and there's nowhere we can go. Yeah, some people may have fame and they don't believe in God and whatnot. That's them, and they go wherever they need to go. But I'm just speaking about listening to that special person, that special, and I say person, God, because to be honest with you, this the spirit speak to us. And if you haven't experienced it, I will just have to say, take a time and just speak to Him. Take a time and just pray and talk to Him. Just tell Him what you are going through, what is in your mind, what you want to do, what are you fighting with. Just talk to Him like you will talk to your friends. Talk to Him. But another thing that I also learned too, you learn to separate friends and acquaintances. And I have grown from that, because not everybody can be in your circle of friends. And if you want to say something to someone because you're frustrated in a relationship, husband, boyfriend, whatever it is, it's okay. You have some real friends that are there for you. But sometimes you should really take the time and go to God and say, God, look, this is what I'm going through right now. And I need you to help me or guide me to what I need to do. Because guess what? He's not going to judge you, and He's not going to go back out there and tell anybody else your business. So this is a process of elevation and a maturity, and knowing that you cannot be distracted by others. So you got to shift your view, you got to shift your work performance, your way of seeing things, and start building a foundation of probably new friends, or make your circle a little shorter. But once again, it's all about walking by faith. This is a process. It doesn't go overnight, but it's a process. And you got to be able to be open to intake, and be open to acknowledge it, and to pursue what you want, because nothing come that easy. And as much as you get, the more tests you will get too, because each test is a testimony for you to level up into another stage of your life. So queens, kings, everyone that is out there listening to this, taking the time to spend with us, um please, my opinion, my tip, what I'm pouring out to you is, before we look at what someone else is doing, how we improving, how we going, and what we are, where we are getting, we will not have done or be where we are if it wasn't for God. So your first step is acknowledging Him and knowing and asking Him to direct where you need to go, and start taking the step that you need to take of faith and trust. That's what I have for you guys.
I'm listening to you, and it's just okay. So I'm back on overload again. I'm on overflow. So first, I'm here and I'm listening, and it's just like hitting me right here. Everything that you're saying. And for a minute there, I thought I was going to have to start pulling it in, because I kind of felt the emotions getting ready to start flowing. Just a shout out again. Thank you so much, Dr. Dion and Dr. Nikita, for joining us in Swag Her Magazine. Thank you all for taking the time out to, join us and just take some of this in as well and show us some love. So much appreciated. I wanted to say that, oh boy, one of the things, and this is in no particular order, everybody, but one thing, I love how you ended it with, seek the guidance from him, but listen, right? Because some people are so hard-headed, me included. You know what I mean? It's that we'll hear it, but we kind of like, okay, now I don't know. Almost like, double dutch jump rope. It's almost like we at the, we on the outside doing these. I'm like, is it safe to go in? Maybe wait a little bit, but wait, one of them kind of things. And so it's just like, I think some of us seek the guidance, and we, have our own relationship, and we talk, and we get words, so to speak, but we still question, we still waiting, like, okay, I don't know. I'm hearing you, but I don't know if I agree. So I think that I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's another piece of the puzzle. Not only did you, talk and seek counsel, but you also listened. So that's one piece of the puzzle, or one thing I want to mention. And also, it's just like, it hit me because that's kind of the pivotal point that I'm at. I work full time. Some of you, I know everyone knows I work full time, but I'm actually a social worker. So I'm a clinical therapist. And right now I currently work in mental health. And it's just nagging at me that I need to kind of just set that to the side, because it has really taken so much out of me, and just to think about, or how you mentioned that you were able to focus full time on your business. And as a result of that, your business, began to scale, began to skyrocket. I mean,
Yes.
not overnight, but noticeably, where you like, wow.
Yes.
So I think it's important for me to hear, and I know it's important for many others that may be tuning in now, or that may be catching the replay, or may see it on the network, or whichever. But you only got a certain amount of time. You only got so much time in the day. And if you were really walking in your purpose, you can't be divided. You can't serve two masters, so to speak.
No.
And you have to take that time to serve. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but the world a disservice, because you are not able to pour in the manner that you were meant to. So, right? Yes. And it's like, I think about myself. By the time I go to work, I work my 8 hours, which turns into 8.5, 9 hours, and then the commute home. By the time I sit down at night and I start working on my business, it's like, how much energy do I really have? And am I really giving it 100%? Like, is my business getting 30%, 40%, 50%? But then we sit and we ask ourselves, well, why is my business not scaling? Why am I not, making a larger impact? Right. And you really have to look at the fact, like, well, how much are you really putting in it? And I know if Dr. 𝐞𝐞𝐧'A Davis is still listening, I know I could just hear her now saying that you need to go to her. I forget the exact name of it, but I know she's doing
the retreat in Cancun, in Tulum.
Right. And it's called what? The Blueprint?
The Blueprint.
Right.
November, and it's in November, so they need to go to Dr. Nikita page, Facebook page, and she has all the information.
Right. All that, she calls it the deets, where you can get all the information that you need. But I know that the focus for that is to help women that are kind of straddling that fence. They want to branch out. They want to go full time, but they're nervous. So I'm mentioning that because that's exactly what we're talking about. And when you mentioned that walk with faith, it's like, that's really what you're doing.
Yes.
You can't necessarily see it.
No.
You have to feel it, and you have to believe it.
So it's basically being blinded. You're blinded, and that's how I felt. I was completely I can see, my eyes are visually seeing in the physical world, but deep inside my soul, I am blinded because I am just walking by what my spirit is telling me to do. And as you do that, you are growing and scaling into different levels of opportunity, but you're pouring this to the other sisters, queens, each and every one that come around your way, along your way. God put people in your path for you to be able to help them through the process. And I experienced that during that process too. And you got to have time to develop and help them as you helping yourself, but you also have an image. And it's not an image of, oh, let me look good in front of the TV or everything. No, it's an image of being um fair, being honest. It's an image of knowing that you are a child of God and you serve Him. But here are you still in a position that mistakes can happen. Yes. But how can you move yourself up, lift yourself up, and correct yourself? And another pointer is that we need to also learn not to bring whatever happened in the past relationship, past work environment, what someone told me yesterday or a month ago or whatnot, because this day and each day is a new day. It's something fresh. It's something given. It's a gift. So let's start out fresh. Let's do something new. Because what you're doing when you keep replaying that and bringing those, you're bringing garbage and you're making your life start stink. And I'm sorry if I'm saying it there, I'm not offending anyone, but you cannot bring something from the past and keep dragging the baggage. You have a new day, is a purpose, is a gift. Start fresh and develop yourself. Because when you learn to let go of those things, even if somebody did something wrong to you, yeah, it's not fair. You forgive, but you know how you need to move along the way, along your path. And that help you to grow and it help you to embrace yourself and those that come around you because you will feel on a much better scale. So that's just a feedback from me.
That's right. Thank you so much. So we have to go ahead and wrap it up today. But thank you so much for being on the show. It was an honor. I mean, meeting you in person was an honor as well. You have such good energy. Just, I just really enjoyed our time together and would
Yeah.
like for us to continue to collaborate. Go ahead and leave whatever you want to leave the audience with, and then let them know how they can find you.
Sure. Um, I would just have to say, this is the moment, this is the day. So, whatever is going through your mind, whatever process you're going through, you are here, you're alive, so you have a purpose. Start taking a pen, a paper, laptop, whatever you want, and start walking into that purpose. And you can find me once again. My name is Anissa Brathwaite, and you can find me Facebook Anissa Pamela, on Instagram Anissa Pam, and also on my business AB&G Travel and Tours. You can find on Facebook, Instagram. It will be ABG Travel and Tours. It's a pleasure being here, and thank you for the opportunity, Jacqueline, for this platform.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for being here and blessing this show with all of your wisdom and your knowledge. So we are concluding. I'm Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am your host for A Queens Roundtable show and podcast and A Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. I am also the executive producer of the A Queens Roundtable channel on the one and only Women Win Network, which is dedicated to women winning 365. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, if you are interested in being a speaker at one of the upcoming symposiums, if you're interested in having your own television show on the Women Win Network, which, by the way, streams on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Definitely hit me up. You can email me at realizingyourpotential, the numbers 123@gmail.com. Also, you can go to my website, realizingyourpotential, the numbers 123.com, and or follow me on LinkedIn under Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, or on Facebook under Realizing Your Potential, the numbers 123. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will talk with you again soon. Take care, everyone.